However, there are still times when I might feel a little bit nervous. If I'm giving a speech to a group that I don't know well, that's not my usual audience, like maybe I'm going to speak to a bunch of older corporate executives, and they don't know anything about me. Well, I'll be a little more nervous in that situation. So before the speech, I might go to the bathroom or go somewhere by myself and get myself feeling strong and jump around and breathe deep and make myself more excited. So then when I go give the speech, I'm feeling great. So these are all little techniques just to get you started on more effective practice for public speaking. It takes time, it takes a lot of repetition, but you will improve. And maybe someday you will be standing in front of 3,000 people and they'll be calling your name. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It can happen. You just must keep going, keep practicing, improving day after day, week after week, month after month. You can do it. I can do it. You can do it. Because I was terrible in the beginning too. So you can also achieve this. Well, as usual, it's question time. So this is where I answer your questions from Twitter. My Twitter account is AJHoge, AJHOGE. So let's go and let's talk about this. Our first question from Twitter, I'm about to say YouTube. Our first question from Twitter is, English is not my native language. So how can I practice and be a good public speaker in English? It's really no different. The only difference is that because you're not using your own native language, the emotions are even stronger. You'll feel even more nervous. Why? Because you're thinking things like, you're telling yourself, oh, I'm not good at English. Oh, what if they don't understand me? Oh, my accent is bad. Oh, I'm good. What if I make a grammar mistake? All these little fears in your head make you feel even worse, even more nervous. So just let me tell you something. They told me this in the Dale Carnegie course, my first public speaking course, because we had people from other countries in my class. And they told them, and they told all of us, that it doesn't matter. And they're right. Nobody in the audience cares about your grammar. If you have an accent, it's not a big problem. You know, as long as you're fairly clear, they will understand you. They want to hear your ideas. They want to feel your emotions. That's why they come to hear you. They're not there for an English lesson, unless they're coming to see me. But if they're coming to see you, they're probably not there to learn English. They want to hear your ideas. They want to hear your stories. They want to feel what you feel. So the most important thing is that you feel calm, that you feel happy to be there. And when the audience feels that, and when you talk to them in a conversational way, they will respond. You will have a successful speech. Even if you make grammar mistakes, people don't care about that stuff. They don't. Focus on your ideas and your emotions. That's what is important. All right, let's go to our next Twitter question about public speaking. Okay, well, it's a similar question from Abdallah Fouda. Says, I'm Arabian and I cannot do an accent, an American accent, British accent, and a lot of people misunderstand me. Fair enough. If your accent is so strong that people cannot understand you, then maybe you need to practice pronunciation more. You do not need to sound exactly like me, not necessary. But you might want to just focus a little bit on pronunciation so it's a little more clear so that the audience does understand you. And the way to do that, there are many ways to do that. I recommend using a movie technique. So find your favorite actor or actress who's a native English speaker, and you just play little parts of their movies. And you play one sentence and pause, and then you say the same sentence. You copy their emotion, you copy how they move, copy the way they use their face and their mouth. And of course, most importantly, copy the rhythm and the sound of their speaking. Try to sound exactly like them. And then you play the next sentence and you do the same thing again and again. And you do this every single day, and your pronunciation will get better. It will become good enough. That's all you need to know. Good enough is fine. Now I'm answering questions on Twitter. Again, it's twitter.com/AJHOGE. Answering your questions now. Great, fantastic question from Max. 1947 Roswell is his Twitter account. Can it be useful to talk about personal experiences in a public speech, as you suggest in job interviews? Yes. Super useful. Talking about personal stories in a speech is very powerful. And in fact, the Dale Carnegie course that I keep mentioning, that's the focus of their whole course, is using personal stories in your speeches. It's powerful. You should do it. I do it all the time. So in that event in Hanoi, I began my event with those 3,000 people. I started it with a story, a personal story about a teaching experience I had in the past. I almost always start my presentations with a story. And then I usually include several other stories. What did I do today on this show? I started with a story about Hanoi, about me giving a speech in Hanoi. It's powerful because if you just talk about ideas and facts and statistics, your audience will go to sleep. Maybe it's necessary to give them that information, but you need to give them stories and more personal things around it to keep them interested. Because if you just want to give them facts, then just send it to them in an email. You don't need to give a speech. Speeches are about emotion. The difference between a paper that you write and a speech is emotion. You can give the basic information just by writing it on a paper and send it to people. But to get them to feel the emotions, that is best done through a speech with your voice. So personal stories, yes. Great comment by Max. Excellent. All right, let's go to our next question on Twitter. Okay, here's another great question. This is from Julia. The Italians are giving lots of questions today. Hey, Jay, what's the best way to get the audience involved? What are the techniques we can use? Well, there are many techniques to get the audience involved, some more difficult than others. The first simplest way to involve the audience, in other words, to make the audience feel they are participating, they're not just sitting back passively. They're actively listening, they're involved, they're excited about what you're saying, is eye contact. Eye contact is the basic way to do that. Some people, because they're nervous, I understand this, I did this in the past too, in the beginning. Some people will stare at the wall at the back of the room. Some teachers even tell you to do that. Look at the wall at the back of the room. So you won't feel nervous, you won't be looking at the people. Maybe in the very beginning you can do that if you're terrified, but it's not a very good technique because the audience will kind of feel that you're not connected to them. The best way to do it is that you look at individual people in the audience as you're speaking. So you may say one sentence. Today I'm here to talk about learning English. And you look at one specific person in the audience, maybe on the right side. Then a little later, you will change and you'll look at someone else in a different part of the audience. You look in their eyes and you say something else. I will give you techniques for learning English powerfully. And then you move and you look at someone else in the eye. And so through your whole speech, you're looking at different audience members in different locations. And you're looking at one person each time. And you're looking right at their eyes and saying your sentence or saying your little story or information directly to that one person. And then you just keep moving from person to person. That creates a very strong connection between you and the audience. It's a very simple technique. You don't have to jump and shout and go crazy. You don't need to use any difficult technique. That's very simple. Anyone can do it. And it will also help you as a speaker because when you look at people, you'll feel their emotion. You'll know if the audience is losing energy and feeling tired, or if they're maybe having too much energy and they need to calm down for a minute, or if they're distracted, whatever. You'll feel it, you'll see it, and then you can adjust. And they'll like you better. They'll just feel you care because you're looking right at them. Great question. Okay, we have time for 2 more questions, and then we are finished. Twitter.com. For my Effortless English courses, go to effortlessenglishclub.com. effortlessenglishclub.com for our courses, and including our free email course. Okay, Charlie in France mentions that when using the movie technique, find an actor who has the same vocal range as you. Good point. So that pronunciation practice I mentioned. Choose an actor who who maybe is a little bit like you. So if someone has a very high voice and your voice is low, don't choose that actor because it will be very tough for you to speak like them. So you want to choose an actor that you feel has maybe a similar personality to you and at least a similar voice to you. They don't need to sound exactly the same, but similar. You want to feel a connection to that actor. So when you're practicing the pronunciation, you'll actually want to sound like them. Key point. Okay, finally, our last question. It's a great question. It's a great warning, in fact. Il Maestro on Twitter says, does making jokes make the speech memorable or better? Don't do jokes. Don't do jokes. That's my best advice. Do not tell jokes. No. Well, actually, yes. It can make your speech memorable in a very bad way. Because most of the time, when someone tries to tell a joke in a speech, it's bad. It's not funny, or maybe it offends some people, or maybe people think it just sounds kind of stupid. Usually when I hear jokes in speeches, it just sounds, I think it sounds like an old person trying to sound funny, even if they're young. I just think it usually doesn't help. Unless you are a professional stand-up comedian. If your job is to stand up in front of people telling jokes and you're good at it, you're a professional comedian, go ahead, tell jokes, okay. But for all the rest of us, including you, no, don't tell jokes in speech. No. You can be funny. You can tell funny stories. That's the way to get humor. That's a much better way. You tell a funny story that has some meaning connected to your topic. People will laugh. I do this all the time when I do lessons. I act crazy sometimes. I jump and shout and I run around the stage and I do all these crazy actions and I tell extremely funny, crazy, weird stories. And people laugh and it's really fun. But I'm doing it for a purpose. It's connected to my topic. It's an English lesson. I'm teaching them vocabulary, or I'm trying to show a point about how bad education in school is, or something like that. It's connected to my topic. So yes, you can be funny, but don't tell jokes. Jokes usually, they're not connected to your topic, so it's just a distraction. Most people are, what's the point of this joke? There's no reason to do it. And the other thing is that usually, unless you're a professional comedian, usually you're not going to do a good job, and joke's not that funny. Or nah, avoid jokes. That's my best advice. All right, finally, Effortless English News. What's happening in Effortless English? Going to Los Angeles today, actually, later today. After the show, I'm packing my bags. Tomoe and I go to Los Angeles. And in LA, I will be recording new VIP lessons, our VIP program. Really our best members, our best program, and I'll be recording new lessons for you all down in LA, recording the videos with some professional videographers, trying to make the videos a little nicer. We'll see. I hope it works. I will be working on finishing the book finally when I get back from Los Angeles. So my book is about 90% finished, but I need to add some more parts to it. When I get back from LA, I'll be working on that, and I'll let you know as I make progress. Finally, people keep asking me about the public speaking course, and we've had some problems with it. I haven't talked to Aaron in a long time. He's super busy with his business. I'm super busy with Effortless English. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that material now. I still want to have a public speaking course, so I'm trying to figure out how to use the material I have that I did, and maybe I might add more to it and create another little course for you guys. I'm not sure. I'll let you know. So that's it. I enjoyed talking to you. As always, go to effortlessenglishclub.com to get our free email course, to join our Power English course, or especially to join our VIP program. VIP members, I'll be talking to you this month in our usual webinar. I look forward to hearing your voices. So have a great day. Thanks again. Bye for now.